Welcome, one and all, to Pacific414 Pop Talk. I am your host, Mike, and joining me this evening is the Smoking Patriot, also known as Common Sense America. Good evening, sir.
What's up, Mike? How you doing?
Doing good, brother. Doing good. So, you ready for take two on this episode of Pop Talk?
As long as I don't keep getting cut off by the damn site.
Well, don't worry, brother. As you can probably see on another window, I'm using StreamYard tonight instead of Melon.
God bless you.
No, I'm not going through that experience again. In case anyone missed yesterday's Pop Talk, Melon was a pain in the ass. The only time, the only time that Common Sense didn't get kicked off of the 7, 8, 9, 10 times he got kicked off, there was only one time. It wasn't that particular website kicking him off. One time it was me, but that was it.
Yeah, it was weird. And what, in the span of 20 minutes it happened what? 3, 4 times?
4 times.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff I'd say, but you'd probably get just your account deleted if I actually said it. If what I wanted to think about Melon was verbalized.
I think I can sense what you want to say because it's my sentiments too.
But we're not on Melon. We're on StreamYards, where we have been treated decent enough. I would argue. So you got to take what you can get, I guess.
Yep. Even with the problems I'd have recently, I'm thinking I'd rather go with something I know that will work and keep my guest on instead of kicking them off every 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's never fun. It's just yeah. Anyways,
So, you ready to jump into the order of business for the evening?
I'm locked and loaded and ready for action.
All right, because I was able to find some articles to add on to today's show.
Sweet.
So, the first thing we're going to talk about, Jodie Whittaker's final season as Doctor Who opens to lowest numbers in revival series history. I wonder why.
Wow.
I wonder why. And this coming from someone who only watched the premiere episode and said, I'm done. Because it was bad.
Are you trying to get brain cancer?
I only watched one episode. I haven't watched it like Doomcock and Gary have.
All it takes is a tiny, tiny tumor to grow. That's you're exposing yourself to cancer.
Well, too late then. Might as well sign my death warrant.
Well, I'll tell the general it was nice knowing you. We will make sure we have the 21 gun salute.
Or just blast some tanks in War Thunder, which I was finally able to get logged into War Thunder yesterday late in the evening.
Like how long after we tried?
It was a good hour and a half after we tried.
Oh, damn, yeah, because that was what, 10:30, I want to say, that we tried. So you're talking, what, midnight probably?
Yeah.
Damn. Well, kudos for you for not giving up.
It's in my nature. Even when people tell me to give up, it's like, there's got to be a way.
Hey, you're a fighter. You're a brawler. Mad respect. Mad respect. I would offer you a cigar, but I can't do it virtually.
So this article comes out about it in the comics, and it's by Spencer McCauley, and it was posted on their site yesterday. And that's another thing I'm gonna keep on saying from now on, because that article yesterday that I was reading, you know, that article talking about Pirates of the Caribbean, and it was mentioning 2014, 2017. It's like, Okay, so you guys post this on your website on the 30th of October of this year. Yet you're talking about 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Let me so for you and everyone else listening, let me just put this into perspective. When this article was probably written, I was either engaged or a newlywed to my ex-wife. That just tells you how long ago it was. Oh dear Lord. Anyway, that's all I'm gonna say on that.
That's all right. I just thought I would mention it. Maybe it gets a few laughs. Maybe it gets a few, head shaking moments. I don't know. But anyways, it says though the BBC may be attempting to sound the fanfare for Jodie Whittaker's final outing as the first female incarnation of the eponymous Doctor, fans appear to be less than thrilled as the season premiere of the actress' final season of Doctor Who has debuted to the worst ratings since the series was revived in 2005. Well, honestly, from what I've seen in clips and what I saw in that one episode I watched, her premiere episode, she's only capable of one facial expression.
Yeah, which is it's funny. I've heard this with several YouTubers, and I want to say it was as in Gary, or I know as was one of them. I can't remember the other one or two, which ones they were. But they said they've seen Jodie in other like either movies or TV shows, and she's actually a good actress. Like she actually is good, not like how she portrays herself in Doctor Who. Although some would argue that it's the director and the producer kind of causing her to be this bad. So I mean, it's kind of hard to say it's solely her fault because if she's acting in a certain way to which they're telling her to act, you can't really fault her that much. But at the same time, it's
True.
like, is she? Because like, if you look at Matt Smith and David Tennant, they were passionate about those roles. You felt it, like you felt it in every episode. It was like they literally were the Doctor incarnate.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard with Jodie, it just feels like she's just putting on an act and she doesn't let that same desire and passion just kind of emanate. That's what I've heard. Again, I'm not seeing this. I'm just going off of what I'm hearing. But if I'm hearing it regularly, there might be something to it, possibly.
Yeah, well, like I said, I only watched her premiere episode, and then I've seen clips here and there, and then I've listened to as Gary Doomcock, amongst several other YouTubers out there, and just regular people talking about her particular era of Doctor Who, and it's uninspiring. Okay, so this article says, as noted by BBC journalist Lizo Nzimba, following the premiere of Chapter 1, The Halloween Apocalypse, though the Doctor Who series opener was watched by an overnight audience of 4.43 million and posted numbers higher than most of the 512's overnights, its viewership, and that just decided to skip on me, its viewership numbers were not as high as 512 opener Spyfall, 4.88 million. And it goes on to say, not only did the debut episode of Doctor Who Flux, the subtitle given to the short-ordered 13th season's interconnected six-part story, failed to perform with audience compared to previous season opener, but its total viewing numbers also fell short of Whittaker's season 11 debut in 2018, which pulled in a total of roughly 10.96 million viewers in the UK alone. Now, let's take a look at that number and the number for this year's season premiere. 6 million people have tuned out of Doctor Who. What does that tell you about the property right now?
It's dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's just dead. There's no interest at all. I stopped watching near. Oh, I didn't finish off Matt Smith, and then I watched the first few. I watched the first half of the first season of Capaldi, and that
Mm-hmm.
was only out of sheer curiosity. That's not because I wanted to; it was just out of curiosity. But Doctor Who has been slowly losing fans, I would argue, since the last season of either the last season of Matt Smith or the first season of Capaldi. Doctor Who has slowly and steadily been losing viewers. I would argue that. I have no data to back that up. I'm just going off of all the Doctor Who fans that I follow and listen and know.
Well, part of that has to do with the stories. It's not the actors that are involved, it's the stories that they're given. Some of the stories haven't been good.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, and when they brought in the what was it with Capaldi, the Master, but it was a woman, and then
Yeah.
the Cybermen were basically it was like something to do with rain and raining down on when the water hit the earth and it went into the earth. It literally went into like the corpses and graveyards and turned them into Cybermen, and that's how like she got a Cybermen army under her. And I'm like, what? Like
Yeah. Yeah. And
what?
that was weird. And Clara and Clara's boyfriend being a Cyberman, it's like, what the hell are you guys smoking over there?
It must be pretty good for them to be writing this stuff, thinking they can get away with it.
Yeah. And the article goes on to say, interesting to see if the one story for 6 episodes means figures rise rather than the usual fall over the series, he continued. Also worth noting that Spyfall Part 1 was a New Year's Day special. If the one overall storyline cliffhangers format keeps figures at this level or sees a rise, will be excellent news. But if it falls at the rate of the last series, then it's already starting from a lower base. I think it's going to continue to fall. I think people have completely tuned out of Doctor Who, and those 4.88 million people are the ones that are, like some of us for Star Trek, we're just clinging on, and no pun intended, but we're clinging on to the last bit of hope for the series. Will Russell T Davies be able to resurrect the franchise and bring it back to its former glory? That remains to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the article says, however, as concluded by Ms. Mimba, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right or wrong, but I'm giving it a try, and if I'm mispronouncing it, I'm sure someone will let me know in the comments. Consolidated figures will tell the real story, but traditionally show is mostly watched on evening that is it is on. Okay. Well, that's true for most shows. The night that the new episodes come out, most people watch it. And he goes on to say, and it adds a fairly consistent amount overnight, but we won't have a fuller picture for a few weeks, he added. Right now, it's in not brilliant, not terrible territory. Now, that's another thing. And I don't work in the television industry. I don't work with all the devices that they use to measure ratings, but you would think in this day and age, they'd be able to get the ratings at the snap of a finger.
Yeah, especially because like you said, with today's technology, it's not like we're back in the '60s and the '70s and hell, probably even the '80s.
You cut out there, brother.
If you can
We'll
go
kick
on your
him off.
phone, say what?
You cut off there.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Oh, that's weird. No, I was just saying that to me, I just find it weird that that information should be available. I mean, for God's sakes, you can freaking. There's so many things that are almost instantaneous to a degree nowadays. That information shouldn't be hard to find.
No, it shouldn't.
So.
And this article goes on to say, interestingly, the reporter also found that the last 5 minutes had much higher viewing figures of 5.41 million. Though he explained that this bump was caused by viewers tuning in early to watch the next program, which happened to be the latest episode of the long-running British reality dance competition, Strictly Come Dancing. Well, yeah, that's what a lot of people do. They're gonna get ready to watch the next program that's actually doing gangbusters in ratings, or just happens to be hitting the right mark of people. So of course, those last few minutes are going to see a bump. You see it in a lot of programming. Heck, I'm sure on Tuesday night before episode 4 Chucky premiered, people were tuning into the last 5 minutes of WWE NXT.
Yeah.
And of course, WWE is going to go, oh, look at this. We got a spike in ratings. You're all safe for now. You're not fired.
All right, there, Martok.
Well, that's my bad Vince McMahon impression. You're fired.
No, I was watching some DS9 yesterday, and it just like, once you hear anything that remotely sounds like Martok, you can't get it out of your head.
Okay, so real quick, ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the ring at this time, Vince McMartok. No chance. No chance in hell.
And he's just got that look in his eyes where he like tilts his head back so he really gets that look in his eye.
Yep.
And this we do not forgive nor forget.
Or even funnier, ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the ring at this time, Stone Cold Cisco.
No. It's not Stone Cold Cisco. It's Stone Cold motherfucking Pimp Hand Cisco. We got to get our names right here.
True. Anyways, the article goes on to say the last time Doctor Who's numbers were below 5 million was with the season 12 finale of The Timeless Children. Don't get me started on The Timeless Children.
I heard a full entire breakdown from, was it the Doomcock or Gary? Literally, it was a 30. It was like between 34 and 40.
Gary.
It might have been Gary. Yeah,
it was Gary. I think we're both thinking of the same one that we saw on.
Yeah, where it's like
me started
30, 45 minutes, and he really breaks it all down, like the entire episode, like plot, synopsis, everything, and I'm just like, what? Okay, all right, calm down.
It's all right. It's all right.
Calm down.
It's 11 o'clock at night. It's prime time. If you got something to say.
No. I want to go to Stovacor. Okay, I don't want to die dishonorable death trying to go after these people because they're not honorable warriors. They are, dishonorable pataks. So
you dishonorable topa.
So they're not worthy of staining my batleth. So.
They are not worthy of the stain of my batleth. The blood stain on my batleth.
My tog has more honor in its own body than you do. No, sorry, no. I was going somewhere with that, and I just botched it. So never mind. Oh.
It goes on to say that episode brought in 4.69 million, but that's not a great feat if you go back to her premiere episode where she got 10 million viewers to tune into that premiere episode, and now, like I said before, you lose 6 million viewers. 6 million. So that's not something to be proud of. And it continues on to say it was the least viewed since Megalos Part 3, which aired in October 1980. Yeah, but that was also near a time where Doctor Who had been running since the 1960s consistently. And then they decided, okay, at one point, they decided at least, we're going to pull the plug on Doctor Who for a while and let it simmer.
Mm-hmm.
It goes on to say if the numbers for the Halloween apocalypse don't improve from overnight figures, it will become the least viewed episode of Doctor Who since The Leisure Hive Part 4, which aired in September 1980 and saw 4.5 million people tune in. As noted above, the 13th season of Doctor Who is being presented as a special 6-part story in which the Doctor attempts to discover the truth behind the Crimean War, her own history, and a mysterious new enemy known as Flux. Great Scott, Marty! They've made the flux capacitor an enemy! Don't you see what this is going to do to the space-time continuum, Marty? All right. See, mine wasn't any better.
Marty, we got to take this thing to 89 miles an hour. Doc, what's that going to do to the time continuum? Great Scott, Marty, I hadn't thought of that. It's okay, Marty. Everything should be fine. Whole universe blows up, and every other alternate universe till infinity blows up. So, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to go 89 miles an hour when 88 is sufficient.
Mm-hmm. It says the official synopsis, as provided by the BBC, states Jodie Whittaker, Mandip Gill, John Bishop, and Jacob Anderson star in an epic 6-part adventure which will take the Doctor and her friends to the edge of the universe and beyond in a battle for survival. It adds packed with action, humor, terrifying new villains, and iconic returning monsters such as the Centaurans and the Weeping Angels. The new series of Doctor Who tells one story across a vast canvas. Really? I'm sorry, but from what I've been hearing, Doctor Who's no better than Discovery, and they're not able to tell stories.
Mm-hmm.
It goes on to say it features a host of acclaimed British acting talent, including Rashida Sandal, Annabelle Sholey, Craig Parkinson, Kevin McNally, Sam Spurrell, Robert Bathurst, Steve Orm, and Thaddeus Graham. The description continues. Finally, it concludes from Liverpool to the depths of space via the Crimean War and a planet named Ultra. I don't know. Ultrapus? I have no idea. Which shouldn't even exist. Fighting old foes and new creatures from beyond our dimension, the Doctor and company face a race against and through time to uncover a universe spanning mystery. What is the flux? The flux capacitor is what makes time travel possible. Make sure you're hanging up a clock. You slip off that porcelain throne. You bump your head. When you come to, you have a vision of the flux capacitor. Now, I'm not advocating anybody going on their porcelain throne and trying to hang up a clock. I'm just quoting Back to the Future.
The flux. I mean, honestly, there's so many probably sci-fi movies and TV shows that have used the flux in some way, shape, or form. Hell, isn't flux even used in soldering? It's
Yeah.
I think it's called flux. Yeah. So I mean, dear God, the flux. Wow, so original. Give them an Emmy and an Oscar and a Golden Globe for such originality. God.
It's stupid. Really, it really is. It's stupid.
It
It's
it
a
really is.
it's a sign that Doctor Who needs to take a rest for a while. It's a sign, even for Star Trek, that it needs to take a rest for a while. Star Wars definitely needs to take a rest for a while.
It's, Star Wars, in my opinion, is honestly, I mean, Doctor Who. I mean, again, the problem is that a lot of these franchises have been slowly corrupted over the years, like a cancerous growth. Everyone just kept saying, "Oh, it'll pass, it'll pass, it'll pass," thinking it'd be like a kidney stone. You just, a little bit of pain and you're right in the urinal. But this is like a cancerous growth. You got to cut the cancer out, otherwise you're going to start amputating, and worst case, the patient crashes and dies. So I feel like when it comes to Trek, Who, and Star Wars,
Okay, you're back, brother.
yeah, I don't know what happened. That was really weird. Okay, what was the last thing you heard me say then?
Star Wars. You were mentioning Star Wars.
Okay, so with Star Wars, they they keep trying to add more and more and more into the Star Wars universe to try and link it with episodes 7, 8, and 9. They have no intention of getting rid of 7, 8, and 9 or saying it's an alternate universe kind of thing. That is the canon. And everything they're doing, from comics to books to TV shows to everything else, is literally to link episode 6 to episode 7. Everything. So there is no there is no hope for them. There isn't. And I'm not trying to sound pessimistic, but we have to face reality at some point. The Star Wars that we loved and grew up with and became such an iconic thing in our lives is dead. The Star Wars we love. Star Trek, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Who. Doctor Who, you can say, oh, well, there's a ray of hope. Okay, that is such a, I mean, we're talking, I got probably a better chance of winning the Powerball lottery than having, um, what's his face? Is it Chibnall? I think who's
Chibnall's the one
returning.
that's going to be stepping down after this season's over, and Russell T Davies is coming
Davies. It was
back.
Davies I was thinking of. Yeah, it was Davies. Sorry. Um, the problem is with Davies, we could think, oh, Davies going to come back. We're going to get good. Yeah. See, everyone thought the same thing when it came to uh 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 oh wow, Mandalorian. I'm going blank on the name. The director.
Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau. I thought Jon Favreau's going to work and he's going to fight and we're going to get good Star Wars again. We're going to get back on the path we need to. No, no, we're not. So just because you're in the world,
It
am I
cut you off
having?
again.
No, it's for some reason my damn Wi-Fi, and I don't know why because I have not had a single issue all day.
Unfortunately, my Wi-Fi hasn't been that great this week either.
It says unless there's major moves made.
Yeah.
I mean, again, no, and you know, I'm probably being more of a realist than a pessimist, maybe. I don't know.
No, I understand what you're saying. I mean, the veil, hearing that being mentioned and how that's going to be used to erase the sequel trilogy, I don't think it's going to happen. Honestly, right now, I really don't think it's going to happen. And maybe that is me being pessimistic. Maybe that's me also trying to be cautious and not to believe every rumor I hear or read about online, or go on to any site and there's somebody talking, and they're talking about rumors. I mean, at least let's give credit where credit is due. At least Doomcock always states that this is a rumor. He doesn't state it as fact. He never claims it to be fact.
Right. Yeah. I mean, well, and that's it. Like, I'm not talking about Doomcock when I'm talking about things that I hear. I'm talking like, um, you read articles about what has been said by various people, and you look at the
Mm-hmm.
actions of these corporations. When it comes to Paramount, CBS, Disney slash Star Wars, and the BBC. When you look at their actions and you hear what these big name people that they have backing it up are saying, you have to, at some point, you have to take them at their word and learn there's no hope right now. The cancer might be too big and deep for us to operate it and save the patient, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want that because I love Doctor Who, what it used to be. How how sad is it as fans? We always have to talk about the past and say, the good old days. I mean, I feel like I'm like the grandpa you see in the movies. Well, in my old day, when pop was, you get it for a nickel and get a Twinkie for a penny. And I mean, that's how I feel like right now. I feel like I'm talking like an old grandpa because all our franchises, the good days, were in the past.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing good on the horizon with them. Dear
No, because
God,
it's being taken over by people who don't care about the IPs. If they actually
no,
cared about the IPs, then we might be getting something. Now,
yep.
I can't assume you've seen it. I can't assume you haven't seen it. But at least Vic Mignogna and those who worked on Star Trek Continues cared about Star Trek.
Oh, I agree. Star Trek Continues was amazing. It's that's the only good Trek we have gotten since Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite. That's. I mean, and I'll stand on die on that hill. It's the only good Trek we've gotten, even though it's not official canon. You watch that show, you'd think it was official canon.
I had the honor and privilege of being on the Star Wars Guys channel this Tuesday for Tuesday Night Trek for the first time. And one thing that we all agreed was not only is Star Trek Continues the spiritual successor to the original series, but it's a labor of love.
Mm-hmm.
You look at what Vic and his team did, actors, directors, producers, set designers, to make sure that they got the lighting just right, to make sure that when you heard a line of dialogue coming out of Kirk, when you heard a line of dialogue coming out of McCoy, Spock, Scotty, whomever, that it actually sounded like something that you could hear William Shatner saying, Leonard Nimoy saying, DeForest Kelly saying. The final two episodes of Vic Mignogna's Star Trek series are Star Trek at its core.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna reset the Wi-Fi on my iPad here. Maybe that'll help because my internet keeps fluctuating and I do not know why. So just give me one. I'll be right back.
All right, brother. I'm going to move on to an article. As soon as I see you pop back in, I'll bring you in.
Sounds good.
All right. So, as I said, hello, Sci-Fi Nation. Good to see you, brother. And Sci-Fi Nation is saying Phase 2 New Voyages was a bit before it continues and was good also. There are actually a lot of great fan film series out there, but New Voyages and Continues has the production values that they do. And hello again.
Hey, all right. Hopefully this should be okay. Don't know what's going on, but let's hope that works.
But yeah, even Sci-Fi Nation in the chat was saying how Phase 2 and New Voyages was a bit before Continues and was good also. And I have mixed feelings when it comes to Phase 2, New Voyages, but those are just my gripes.
I don't know if I've ever seen those.
You can find them here on YouTube.
I'll look into it. I've watched a lot of fan Treks projects, so I'll look into it.
All right, so this next article I wanted to cover was something that came out today, and we all know that Ghostbusters Afterlife comes out later this month, and that's about the reaction I was expecting.
Well, it was funny. So I'm following the whole Kyle Rittenhouse.
I'm going to give him a few seconds to come back. Okay, so you were following.
Oh, this damn internet! I don't know what's going on with it. Everything reads out like it's okay. Anyway, sorry. I was the whole Kyle Rittenhouse trial. I've been watching it through a lawyer on YouTube, Nick Recato, and I get a news alert that pops up on my phone, and it literally says Dan Aykroyd, throws, it literally says that. It literally says that first part there. Ghostbusters star Dan Aykroyd throws full support behind cancel culture. That was the little notification that popped up on the news feed. I'm like, oh my god, really?
This is just my opinion, but he's trying to get those points. He is trying to get those points. And of course, this is coming out of Bounding into comments, and it's from Josh Berger. And I'm sorry, I said it came out today. It actually came out yesterday, but I only saw it today. So it says former Saturday Night Live star and Ghostbusters franchise writer actor Dan Aykroyd has thrown his full support behind cancel culture, recently claiming that the comedy deemed offensive should be rightfully canceled for its hurtfulness. Now, oh, come on. Give me a break. Dan Aykroyd comes from an era of comedy where everybody was a target of the comedy geniuses that were up on stage, whether it be Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Sam Kinison, Robin Williams. If you ever hear any of those gentlemen's comedy routines, trust me, the woke culture of today, their heads would explode.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, well, look at what Eddie Murphy said. What was that? I think it was last year when it was. I think it was his comedy special back in. I think it was like the late '80s, early '90s. I think it was called Raw, which I've seen, and it is pretty raunchy and vulgar at times. It is so freaking funny. Like, comedy back in the day used to be good. It was funny. Comedy is meant to literally take you out of reality for an hour, hour and a half, however long the set is, and just kind of make you feel good about yourself. It might be vulgar, it might be inappropriate, it might be crass and crude, but damn it, if it made you laugh, you didn't care. Sure, you might get fired tomorrow, but do you know what? That laugh is just what you needed to help take your mind off the fact you might be getting fired tomorrow. That's what comedy used to be.
Like a lot of entertainment, used to be an escape. from what's going on around you.
Yep.
Okay, so it goes on to say there's enough range in humor where you don't have to go scatological, and you don't have to go pulling any divisive cards to get a laugh. Who says that comedy is divisive? You know, you go to a comedy show, and if they're poking fun at everybody of every nationality and every religion, well, guess what? We're all targets of comedy. That's how you laugh. That's how you poke fun at the obscure and the ridiculous.
Yeah. Now I will say this as a stipulation is that yeah, comedy is supposed to be no boundaries. Unfortunately, people have taken it nowadays to where, oh, it's no boundaries. Okay, I'm gonna only rag on like two groups, and that's it, and everything else is off limits. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, comedy used to be, 1 minute you're calling a black guy the N word, the next minute you're calling every white person, the white racial slur, and then the next minute you're joking around about how you wanted to bang your mom, your best friend's mama because she was the hottest woman in the neighborhood. Like that would be within like a span of like 5 minutes, and and you didn't care because it was just funny.
Mm-hmm.
Good punchline, boom. Everyone's rolling around, guys and gals are running to the bathroom trying not to piss themselves because they've been laughing that hard. Everything was fair game, not just certain groups kind of thinking.
And I've watched Gabriel Iglesias. The guy makes me laugh.
Oh God, I've seen probably a half dozen of his specials. Yeah, he's good. He's good. He hasn't gone woke yet. Yet being the key word. Although that TV show he did, that was a little bit woke.
Well, I'm glad I haven't seen it. Okay, I'm gonna wait for Common to get back, but in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and read this article. And it says he asserted, but there is more intelligent writing that can happen if you stay away from offensive material that should be rightly canceled for its hurtfulness. Who could be the subject of an impression today? That's an area of discussion. Well, guess what, Dan Aykroyd? As someone who was born with cerebral palsy, I've learned to develop a thick skin. And that's what people need to do. Develop a thick skin and know when something's, supposed to be funny, hilarious, comedy, and when someone's being serious. You have to be able to differentiate the two. It's a lesson I
Hmm.
had to learn.
I had to learn it too because my last name was the butt of many racial jokes. So, you know, I got a lot of awkward looks, and I had to suck it. I had to grow a thick skin pretty quickly. So, yeah. Sorry, Dan Aykroyd. Cancel culture is what is destroying the industry that you are, and I would argue, an icon in to a degree.
Mhm. Well, think about him, Bill Murray, you know, all those comedians that came up at that time, all those comedians that were on Saturday Night Live when it first premiered and continued to show up on Saturday Night Live as years went on when it was funny. It's not funny anymore, in my opinion, but it was funny during a period of time. So, all those comedians, all those jokes, what are we going to do? Are we going to analyze each and every joke they ever told throughout their career and say, okay, now you're canceled? Hey, Robin Williams, you're canceled. But Robin Williams passed away 7 years ago. You can't cancel a man who's dead. I mean, it just shows that woke culture is ruining everything it touches. And Sci-Fi Nation says Nanny Wood doesn't want critical thinkers in the audience anymore. They may not want critical thinkers in the audience anymore, but I can speak for myself. I question things I read and hear on the radio, hear on the news when I'm watching it. I question everything. Okay, sci-fi is probably going to try to reset and it'll probably be back. So this article goes on to say, can I do my James Brown imitation? He continued. He was one of my best friends. I do his voice pretty good, but maybe I shouldn't anymore. You know, anybody remember the expression, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery? You know, did he ever ask James Brown when he met him, what do you think of my impression? Are you still okay with me doing the impression? That's a question. All right, check. All right. And Common says he'll be right back. But anyways, the article continues. Interesting. A few years ago, Aykroyd was on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, where he not only sang one of Brown's all-time classic tunes, "I'll Go Crazy," performed with assistance from blues legend Bobby Rush, but he also shared an anecdote in which he did an impression of his friend. The anecdote itself was not in any imaginable way a dig at Brown, but according to Aykroyd, the impression could be deemed offensive simply because Brown was a black man and he is not. Aykroyd didn't specify whether his stance on offensive material means that he'll refrain from doing his impressions of Brown or seeing any more of his late friend's discography. discography. Sorry about that. But going by his logic, he shouldn't be doing either. And then it goes on to say, it is also worth pointing out that Aykroyd wore blackface in the timeless comedy Trading Places, starring alongside Eddie Murphy, where his character disguised himself as a Jamaican in a heavy regional accent for comedic effect. And then, of course, you see that scene here in this picture. It says Trading Places hit theaters in 1983, and almost 4 decades later, Aykroyd has yet to receive backlash for doing that particular scene. Considering how much he supports cancel culture these days, it seems odd that the actor has yet to apologize for wearing blackface in the past, even though he shouldn't have to. Goes on to say further, in 2016, following the release of the all-female Ghostbusters Answer the Call, which wasn't good at all. I watched it and I wasn't impressed. Aykroyd himself pulled a divisive card to get a laugh by comparing Leslie Jones haters to Donald Trump supporters. And Common is back. Welcome back.
Thanks. So, yeah, sorry, I don't know what the hell's going on. My speed test, everything says I'm getting at least 150.
I don't know, brother. Because it just did it again when you were speaking, just a few seconds in.
Yeah. I just did a speed test. I got 163 megabytes a second on a speed test, but yet StreamYards apparently can't keep connected to the internet for some reason. They keep saying, "Well, it looks like you're having a rough connection."
Well, just like Melon yesterday, except unlike with Melon, yes, StreamYards is cutting you off, but it's not kicking you out.
I don't know, because I've also run. I mean, I'm also I because I opened it so technically the website is through Discord, so I don't know. That's part of the problem. Melon yesterday literally wouldn't even do anything for me when I tried to just go to just a actual web page and not open it through StreamYards. So, but like this is the first time this has happened with me. Like, I guess technically, I guess you could say a second time, but well, apparently I angered the Melon overlords too, Gonzillionaire. They just can't handle my level of patriotism. They just can't handle it.
America.
Fuck yeah. Anyways, I'll make this work. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I'll make it work.
Okay, so the paragraph I was beginning to read before it cut you off says further in 2016, following the release of the all-female Ghostbusters Answer the Call, Aykroyd himself pulled a divisive card to get a laugh by comparing Leslie Jones haters to Donald Trump supporters, going as far as claiming that most of the actress online abusers were obese white men between 50 and 60 who are active Klan members. Well, Dan, I hate to tell you this, but you're a white guy in his late 60s who probably would look like the same guys that you're talking about. Let's be honest here. And he goes on to say that I would say that you're looking at obese white men between 50 and 60 who are active Klan members or members of the Aryan Nation, and there are millions of them, Aykroyd said at the time. These people, they're insignificant gnats, they're losers, they have no lives of their own, they can probably barely pay for the Wi-Fi they're using. Well, that's somebody on his porcelain throne in his ivory tower looking down at the people who have made him rich. But that's nothing new in Hollywood. And you are exactly right, Godzillionaire. It is called projecting. All right. Are you reading my mind, Godzillionaire? Stop. Stop. It's scary in there. And the article goes on to say perhaps Aykroyd should apologize for falsely claiming that former President Trump and his followers are racist, as such bold accusations, with or without any empirical evidence, would easily get him canceled were he a right-leaning actor criticizing the current president. And, I think it is what it is. Ghostbusters Afterlife is coming out. He's on that publicity tour trying to generate buzz for the movie, but he wants to fit in current times, the current trend.
Yeah.
And
The
it's
thing
sad, really.
is that, and I've heard this.
Okay, you're about to say the thing is, and you've heard.
Oh, this is pissing me off actually more than Melon, because at least it's telling me you're having an unstable connection when everything else is telling me I've got a good internet service signal. So it's actually pissing me off more than Melon right now.
I'm sorry,
What
brother.
was I gonna say? No, I literally don't know what the fuck's going on. Because I mean, literally, I was literally watching a stream right before joining you, and everything was fine. No glitches, no gaps, no hiccups, no nothing. So I don't know what's going on.
Maybe it's on my end.
Pissing me off. But anyways, what was cool? All right. So Aykroyd is part of the old guard. He's made it big. So, but cancel culture is what's preventing a lot of good people and good actors and actresses in all various genres to make it big. Because unless they conform, they get canceled. Or even people who have been around for a little bit, they're getting canceled. So he's made it big. He's done his time in Hollywood.
Okay, you were saying he's made it big. He's done his time in Hollywood.
Okay, he's done his time in Hollywood. He's trying to get in with the hip crowd. It ain't working because guess what? You can't be from the old guard and be in with the hip crowd without standing out like a sore thumb. You can't. Different generation. The generation now is butthurt about the tiniest little thing. His generation, you could say almost anything and people would laugh and you could get away with it. It was different times. You can't merge two generations and think that they're going to work.
Well, the other problem is that this younger generation hasn't been taught the values that the other generations were taught. It's the truth.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a whole nother discussion as to why, probably. But yeah, I would agree. I would agree. And there's that's multi-layered in my observation. That's a multi-layered thing, but that would unfortunately involve getting into a little political stuff because unfortunately Hollywood is so politicized nowadays. You can't help but dive into the political side at times, and I know politics isn't something you really want to talk about on your channel, so I'm gonna
Nope.
refrain from talking about it.
No, I mean, even a mutual friend of ours has asked me how far do I want to take this, and honestly, I want to keep politics out of pop talk unless it's relevant to the story I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, the politics thing would be more about just Hollywood in general and the
Yeah.
education system and everything. So that's why I said I'll just not go any deeper because that would be a much longer thing. And I want to respect your channel. So
Well, just like I want to respect anyone else's channel out there. If you're watching, you're listening, if you ever have me on, just know I will give you my full respect because it's your channel. It's not my channel. I will respect any rules and boundaries that you have on your channel.
yep. And I'm the same way. So long as I know them. If I don't know them, well, then you can't expect me to adhere to to rules that I don't even know of. But if I know of them, I will honor and respect them.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay. So this article actually came out on the 29th, so last week, on Bounty and Comics, and it's written by Spencer Macaulay, and it was one of the articles we tried to get through last night.
Oh, please tell me this is the one I'm thinking of right now.
Yeah, yes, something to bring a smile to your face. Okay.
Okay. Boobies. Okay, come on. Let's just be real. The moment you pull up this article and you start scrolling down, that's the first thing that you'll be like, what do you notice about this article? Boobies. Any straight guy would probably say that.
The male gaze is the male gaze. I'm gonna say it, and I know there's probably gonna be somebody out there going "re," but I don't care. You know what? There's a good looking woman.
Very, very, very good looking woman. Yes, I'm a toxic male. I like the female form and female body. If you don't like it, up yours.
And don't worry, Godzilla. Like I said, if it's relevant to the story, I will. I will definitely talk about it. And here's why I'm laughing all of a sudden. I got saying here. Love you, man. Anyways, it says Alice Eve stands by underwear shot in Star Trek Into Darkness. I'm proud of that scene.
Damn right you should be.
Mm-hmm. Despite the accusations of misogyny and sexism it sparked amongst feminist critics, actress Alice Eve has revealed that not only is she proud of having shot her underwear scene for Star Trek Into Darkness, but that she's also been outright confused by the resulting backlash. As seen in the 2013 sci fi sequel, the scene in question catches Chris Pine's Captain Kirk turning around to sneak a brief glance at Eve's character, Dr. Carol Marcus, in her underwear as she is changing into a spacewalk capable suit in service of disarming the film's plot centric cryo torpedoes.
I
Though brief,
mean,
I
just
mean,
yeah, just stare at that photo of her right there for about 10 seconds. You'll forget about Aykroyd and Doctor Who and all that bullshit.
well, I know my viewers are tired of me always bringing up these negative articles, so you know what? When I saw this and I read it originally, I'm thinking,
Look at
go ahead, go ahead.
Gasolina's comment. Look at his comment. You know, the funny thing is, that was all I could think of. And here's the best part about in service of service. You're killing me. But what was funny about that scene is I remember seeing that scene, and in my mind, all I kept thinking was, Captain's privilege. And then the second thing I thought of, I saw it with an ex girlfriend at the time. Sorry, we're ex-girlfriend now. By the time we were dating, so that scene comes up, and I think Captain's privilege. And then I literally glance over at her. She glances at me. We like lock eyes for a few seconds, and then just turn back and keep watching the movie. And this is in a movie theater, by the way. Oh, that scene's memorable to me. It's very memorable.
Well, I mean, yeah, again, there's a good looking woman. And what straight male wouldn't like looking at her?
Looking at her, and I guarantee you, there's a lot of people that would have loved to shove Bones out of the shuttle pod, have Kirk lock it, and make first contact.
Well, Carol Marcus and Kirk, their spawn is David.
I know. I mean, David's got to get created somehow. So you're killing me, man. Gasolina's killing me. Captain's lab, stardate 80085.69. Me and Marcus are stranded in a shuttlecraft. She's apparently undressing, and for whatever reason, I don't know why, but I'm about to make first contact.
All right, so the article goes on to say,
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm trying. And to quote another YouTuber I watch, I'm struggling here.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to do this on purpose. It's just,
dude, it's okay.
Okay, all right. Whew, okay, I'm good, I think.
Though brief, this scene sparked such widespread outrage amongst feminist activists that the film's writer, Damon Lindelof, was eventually driven to apologize for including it in the film. Oh, give me a fucking break.
Oh.
Asked about the scene during a recent interview with Inverse, given in promotion of her upcoming film Warning, Eve told reporter Eric Francisco, "It was something I voluntarily worked with a trainer to be fit for, was very much prepared for, and very much enjoyed filming, executing, promoting." Well, yeah, I mean, her work paid off. I mean,
that's for certain.
what do you want me to say? I mean, her
I
work
mean,
paid off.
well, it was so get this. So with the whole directors like apologizing or sort of stuff like that, I was reading a little factoid thing. It was like 10 random Hollywood facts. And one of the facts was so you remember the movie The Island, Ewan McGregor, Scarjo?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Apparently Scarjo in that movie actually wanted to be topless in one or two scenes. Like full on you see boob everything. Like full on topless scenes. And the director at the time said no, he didn't want that, so they didn't do it. And I'm just thinking, this is Scarlett Johansson you're talking about. That movie was a pretty crappy movie. At least
Yep.
people could have said it was a crappy movie, but damn, remember those scenes? I mean, at least it would have been talked about in a positive light, even if it was topless scenes of Scarlett Johansson. I mean, for God's sake, some movies are only memorable because of sometimes the partial nudity in them because you're like, you know what, that movie was crap, but at least I mean, the island. Honestly, no, I don't know anybody that talks about the island.
I
Anybody?
watched I watched it only 2 times, and that was enough for me.
I watched it. I watched it twice. I watched it twice. First time, and then I watched it like several weeks later again, just to kind of see if it was like, because I'm like, okay, this is an okay movie. And so, as Chaos likes to put it, hypnosis. I wanted to see, okay, was it actually a good movie? So I watched it again, and I'm like, this movie sucks. So
Yeah. Well, you want to know why? You want to know who had his hands in the making of that movie? The person who had his hands in the making of that movie loves explosions. That's right. If you saw any of the Transformers live action movies, you know Michael Bay loves explosions, and he had his hands in The Island.
I know. I know. I mean, again, it's just like I'm tired of directors apologizing or, it's like, you know what? Here's the thing. If you're so ashamed of that scene, how about just don't say a damn word? Now, if he had come out and said, say, 6 months, 9 months after, uh, uh, Into Darkness came out, and he's like, you know what? In hindsight, I probably wouldn't have put the scene with her in her underwear in it. Okay, maybe you could be a little more understanding because the movie's come out. He's had a little bit more time to reflect, get kind of some of the crowd's opinion. But this is freaking what? This is what six? What six? No, so what, 7 years old, probably. Well, wait, when did Darkness come out?
2013 is when it came
8 years
out.
then.
So, yeah,
8
8
years.
years. 8 years, almost 9 years.
Yeah. So honestly, him saying this is moot. Him saying this now is moot.
And Godzillionaire says he was ashamed of that scene. What about the rest of that awful movie?
Honestly, that scene is the only scene he should be damn proud of. Because it's the only thing people are actually like, yeah, that movie sucked, this, and this. But hey, how about Marcus in the shuttle? I mean, dear God, at
Wink,
least
wink,
somebody could say
nudge,
something.
nudge.
Yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Okay, it says the feeling I shouldn't have done it or done that, or let me start that over. The feeling I shouldn't have done it or that it was exploitation was confusing to me, she told Francisco, adding that she actively involved was actively involved in discussions. Read the paragraph, Mike, regarding every one of her scenes. There are many things in the world that are confusing. I put it down to one of those anomalies. Ultimately, the actress concluded, I am proud of the scene and all the work I did. Interestingly, Eve's pride in having appeared in the sexualized scene, especially in the current social atmosphere, stands in stark contrast to the retroactive shame felt by Scarlett Johansson toward her time as Black Widow, noting to Collider that she was in a different place as a woman than she originally debuted as the character in Iron Man 2. Johansson asserted that such change related to that move away from the kind of hypersexualization of this character. But okay.
Oh, God. This is a chick who has been in actual sex scenes, full on nude sex scenes, and she's complaining that her character is I'm so hypersexualized in this role. Bitch, you've been in full on nude sex scenes, okay? I don't want to hear shit coming out of your mouth.
Heck, there was an award show that she went to years ago where she was wearing this red dress, and I'm going to say it, she looked damn good in that red dress.
She still can rock a dress even at this age. She still looks pretty damn good. Like, you know what's funny? I heard Az say this. This is, God, probably a month or two ago. He said, you know what the sad thing is? The things that made movies great back in the day? Sex, nudity, and violence. Because go in the 80s and the 90s, you got all these great action and even horror and all this stuff. What was something that there was in common with all of those? There was violence, nudity, and or sex. And whether you agree with, oh well, there shouldn't be sex. The point is that it was much that was something that when you go see an action movie, you don't want to be pandered to. You don't want this. You don't want that. You just want to see some guys kicking ass, getting the girl. For God's sakes, in Bond movies, Octopussy, Pussy Galore. You know, I mean, for God, Lily, her name was Pussy Galore. That was an actual Bond chick. Go back to the old days when women would be in scantily clad attire and even maybe have nude scenes or partial nude scenes or sex scenes or a combination, whatever. Give me the good old days, okay? Give me the good old movies. If I want to watch sci-fi, give me good sci-fi. You want to throw a little bit of an underwear scene in there? I'm not going to complain. You want to give me an action movie? Give me a damn action. Why do you think Expendables and John Wick are so loved? Because they don't preach and they give you violence. I mean, you know, chopping off heads, blowing limbs off, all that kind of good old school action stuff.
Yeah, I mean, heck, I could think of someone that was a sex symbol back in the 70s. Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to look through movies that she's been in to see what I've seen her in. But yeah,
she was in the original Charlie's Angels.
I never watched the original Charlie's Angels.
I did.
That wasn't really on TV when. Well, I used to watch a lot of older TV shows. Like there was a channel where it had like all the older TV shows. Like let me go through them. What was the one with Red Fox? Him and his son owned like a junkyard. Sanford and Son. I loved watching Sanford and Son. Like the old Wild Wild West, the TV show, not the movie they came out with in the 90s. Like Wild Wild West. Like I watched some of those older TV shows. Charlie's Angels was never on. At least when I watched it. And it might have been on during a different time of the day when I wasn't watching, but I never physically ever watched it.
Well, like I said, I did with my dad. My dad, because they sold it, and It was a hot item. It was a popular item. My dad had a poster of her hanging in the garage. And my mom thought, that's the only poster I'm going to allow you to put up in the garage, because the garage is your area, but that's the only poster I'm going to allow. My dad didn't care.
Nope. Yeah, I don't blame him. I mean, today, I mean, again, ever since probably I'd say the thing is, you haven't really had any woman that's come out that's been a kind of a quote unquote sex symbol, because they've slowly been cutting down on that kind of stuff. Now,
Mm-hmm.
again, there were people who will argue that sex and nudity should not be in movies. Okay, that's a fair argument to make, but I'm just going to say this. When they didn't give two shits about what the minority said and the majority didn't mind seeing a pair of nice boobs and or full on nudity or a good sex scene, you gave them some good raw action. Again, whether it be action or horror or what have you, those movies are still loved to this day. I mean, okay, prime example: Terminator, graphic violence and sex and nudity. Great
Well,
story.
I'll bring up another movie, Top Gun.
Top Gun. Oh god, I can't wait for the sequel. God, I love Top Gun.
I mean, even though that movie was rated, I think it was PG at the time,
Mm-hmm.
the way they shot that scene, that was brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and there's other movies like that too. I mean, all right. I'm just gonna deal with this damn internet thing because there's nothing else I can do.
Yeah.
There's nothing else I can
But
do. So,
you were
um,
saying there were other movies?
yeah, like okay, like look at Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone, Sandra
Mm-hmm.
Bullock. Like the whole like how they like have sex is like they put on these helmets and it basically like transmits your thoughts and everything, and that's how you have sex. Like you see like Sandra Bullock kind of like, I don't want to say she's like scantily clad and moaning and all this stuff, and then there's another scene where Sylvester Stallone, there's like a call on, I guess we would call it today like a TV, but it was like a view screen kind of thing, and it's this chick who from the waist up, you could tell you knew she was naked, but they didn't show the full nudity. They just showed from the waist up, and you just see her, boobs.
Is
Are
that
you
right?
done,
Right,
internet?
right, right when you got to the boobs.
So yeah, so the whole boobs, and she's like, "Oh, sorry, I thought this was such and such room," and Sylvester Stallone just staring at her like, "No, oh my bad," like hangs up. I mean, granted, Demolition Man was I think in like the early to mid '90s, I want to say, but like look at a lot of action movies, and you'll see these three things. One, you'll see two of these three things usually: violence, sometimes graphic, but not always. Violence, nudity, whether partial or full, and a sex scene. You usually saw two of those usually in the old school action movies. Usually,
Oh,
not all the time, but you usually saw those combinations.
another thing that's coming to mind is Total Recall.
I'll take three, please.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like you got Total Recall, Terminator. God, there's probably so many I'm just missing right now.
I mean, another woman that was considered a sex symbol on the TV show Dallas, and I'm talking about the original show, was Victoria Principal.
Got no clue, but I'm just gonna nod my head.
Look her up. Look her up.
All right, let me pull up the old phone here.
Alrighty. Victoria Principal.
Victoria Principal. Here we go. Let's see. Oh, this is a damn Wikipedia. I don't want Wikipedia. Just give me Victoria Principal.
I agree with you there, Godzillionaire. Taco Bell is not fine cuisine.
No. All right, let me find her from I don't want these new ones. Whoa. Hello. Of course, her I guess when she's older, or I guess you can call them newer ones. Dear God, that woman's had work. But these, when she's younger, dear God, I don't. Woof.
I wouldn't steer you wrong. And this article goes on to say, I mean, you look back at Iron Man 2, and while it was really fun and had a lot of great moments in it, the character was so sexualized, you know. She continued, at one point, Tony calls her a piece of meat, and maybe at that time that actually felt like a compliment. You know what I mean? Because my thinking was different. Wait a minute. 3 years ago, a certain DC movie came out. And what were the women doing? They were fawning over Jason Momoa. So
that was, yeah, I would argue that's the reason why it did as well as it did.
Yeah. So it works both ways. It works both ways. And the article says, later in a separate interview, Time. Oh, sorry. I butchered that. I apologize, folks. Later in a separate interview with Time, Johansson decreed the founding Marvel Cinematic Universe Avenger as a sexist stereotype. Okay. She obviously has no knowledge of the character whatsoever. That the way Black Widow has always been portrayed as someone who will do what it takes to get the information she needs.
Yeah, she's an assassin.
Mm-hmm.
Female assassin. You know, as an assassin, you're trained to, you know, assassin or secret agent. Okay, even if you want to throw Bond into the same category, they're trained to use everything at their disposal. That also means sex appeal. Woo the woman so that way you can gain her trust and get the information you need. Or if you're a female, seduce the guy so you can get the information you need. If that it means sleeping with them, then so be it. But you do what you got to do to get the information to get the job done. That was the whole point of her being like a master assassin.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
it's stupid.
Stop. Look.
Go ahead, brother.
Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah. So like when it comes to a lot of our movies and TV shows, if you're going to accurately portray characters, portray them properly. If Iron Man is a certain way, you got to portray him a certain way. If Thor, Hawkeye, if you're portraying character a certain way, and that goes for females. If you're playing She-Hulk, well then portray She-Hulk as She-Hulk would be. If you're going to be Black Widow, you got to be the sexy type. You got to be willing to wear maybe skimpier outfits or tighter outfits or what have you, because that's what the character would be wearing if you were in the comics. So I'm sorry. That, suck it up, Buttercup. You want to portray this role, you got to be willing to do and act similar things to a degree of what the characters in the comics do.
Mm-hmm. Honor the source material.
Exactly. Now, am I saying you have to honor it 110%? No. Because in the comics, they could be showing Scarlet ScarJo banging every single known possible male entity in the universe, like full-on graphic sex scenes in the comics. I'm not saying they have that. I'm just hypothetical. But I'm not saying that you have to have full-on sex scenes. But yeah, act and play the role as it's portrayed. Because if the source material will not steer you wrong, assuming you have good source material, of course, it will not steer you wrong. Oh God, yeah, Haven't they already? Aren't they working on a She-Hulk movie? I think. I thought I heard something about that.
It's either a movie or TV series. But either way, from what I've heard about it, it doesn't sound like it's going to be very good. So, moving on here, we've got another article out of Boundary in the Comics, because that's where I seem to be finding most of my information right now, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it says new Darth Maul and Dryden Voss Star Wars animated series reportedly in development. Yeah, but we all know Darth Maul's fate. He dies. It says a new room.
Go ahead. No, I'm
no. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
No, I know. No, I want to see what the article reads first before I complete my thought first, because I want to see what they say.
Okay. It says a new rumor claims that Disney and Lucasfilm are developing a new Darth Maul-centric animated series that will feature Paul Bettany's Dryden Voss from Solo, a Star Wars story. I'm sorry for pausing, but I seem to recall Solo lost money, didn't it?
It lost money, and it was pure shit. Raylos are weird. I have to get that out there too.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So spoilers. Okay, so if anybody has not seen either Rebels or Solo, cut your volume here for about 10 seconds. You've been fairly warned, so here I go. Both of these characters die. Boss in Solo, and Maul in Rebels. So why are you creating a TV show based on them?
It's a waste of time and money.
It really is. I mean, there's no story here.
Nope. I mean, what stories can you tell? We know that Darth Maul eventually ends up facing Obi-Wan Kenobi yet again, and Obi-Wan very quickly disposes of him.
That was a beautiful scene, by the way.
Yes, that was well done. It says this rumor comes from Sinlix that reports a pair of independent sources who tell me that Darth Maul will be the focus of a new animated series. The website adds, while they both mentioned Maul, one source specifically mentioned it was a show about his time running Crimson Dawn before Solo, a Star Wars story. As for Bettany, the report states, I have heard Paul Bettany is expected to come back to voice Dryden Voss. Maul's story has been extensively showcased in Star Wars Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels after he was first introduced in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. However, it appeared Lucasfilm had plans to further explore the character following Solo, a Star Wars story. Towards the end of the film, and this is the scene in question. Towards the end of the film, Emilia Clarke's Kira makes contact with Maul, who is revealed to be the power behind Voss Crimson Dawn Syndicate, telling him, "I regret to inform you that Dryden Voss is dead, murdered by the thief he hired to steal the coaxium shipment, his friend Tobias Beckett." After declaring he would seek out the traitor Beckett and his accomplices, Maul tells Kira, "You and I will be working much more closely from now on."
Yep. That was the only good part about that whole movie, by the way.
Yeah,
That
because
one little thing.
Yeah, they brought back Ray Park to be Maul again, and then they used Darth Maul's voice actor from Clone Wars. His name is escaping me at this time, but to
Yeah, I don't
provide the voice.
remember. I don't remember his name either. But now, something I would have loved to see them do if they did want to do an animated, continue down the story after Solo. Anyway, okay. Sorry, this damn internet thing is just kind of throwing me off with my thought processes.
I understand.
Oh yeah. So I think what they should do, continue from Solo. I'm not saying as a sequel to Solo. I'm saying like a continuation series of uh, 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 Kira. I think is that how it's said? Kira.
Yeah, Kira.
Kira and Maul working together with within the criminal organization. Animated everything. You bring in what's her face to do the voice role of Kira. You bring in the voice actor for Maul, and you do it that way. If you wanted to continue, but doing Voss and Maul just seems completely pointless because I don't care because Voss is dead. He's dead. What difference does it make if you have him in an animated series?
Makes no difference at all because we know where his story ends. We know where it began. We
Exactly.
know where it ends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kira, obviously, the only time we ever see her in the Star Wars universe is in Solo. So maybe if you wanted to expand upon her character more, do an animated series with those two.
Mm-hmm. And the article goes on to say, outside Solo, Maul formed the Shadow Collective, a collection of criminal gangs that included the Pike Syndicate, the Hutt Clan, the Black Sun, and the Crimson Dawn, and even members of the Mandalorian terrorist organization Death Watch. Which, they even covered that in Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
So again, why do you need to tell that story again? It's already been told. We've already seen the outcome of that story. Maul's formation and leadership of the Shadow Collective were highlighted during Star Wars: The Clone Wars. The Shadow Collective came about after he and his brother Savage Opress were discovered and nursed back to health by Pre Vizsla and the Death Watch. From there, Maul formed an alliance with Death Watch and proceeded to recruit Black Sun and the Pike Syndicate to their banner. They then used brute force to bring the Hutt clan into their growing organization as well. The two brothers would also later add the Morbus crime family to the Shadow Collective. Maul would steadily increase not only his personal power in the dark side, but also the Shadow Collective's power as they were eventually able to take control of Mandalore. However, he and Opress would betray Pre Vizsla and locked away in Mandalore. The two would eventually escape, and Maul would challenge Vizsla to single combat where he easily defeated the Death Watch leader and claimed the Darksaber as his prize. Maul's reign over Mandalore would not last long. Darth Sidious would eventually arrive on the planet and challenge Maul's authority. In the ensuing battle, Sidious would kill Opress and defeat Maul. After his defeat, Sidious imprisoned Maul in the Spire on Sidron Prime. Maul would eventually be rescued by loyal members of Death Watch, and he would attempt to rebuild his power base. However, Sidious would use Separatist forces led by Count Dooku and General Grievous. They easily crushed Maul's forces, but allowed Maul and his forces to retreat in hopes of Maul exposing Mother Talzin. Maul would indeed contact Mother Talzin, but she and Maul set a trap for Dooku and Grievous on Ord Mantell. There, Maul, with his Shadow Collective forces, defeated the Separatists and was even able to capture Dooku and Grievous. However, Republic forces, led by Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ayla Secura, Mace Windu, and Tipley, tracked Maul down and forced him and Dooku to flee Dathomir. Grievous would find other means of escape. On Dathomir, Dooku would be offered as a sacrifice in an attempt to allow Talzin to take a physical form again. However, the ritual was interrupted by Sidious and Grievous. Talzin would be slain by Grievous, and Maul would be forced to flee. He would eventually launch a new plan, returning to Mandalore with Death Watch, but staying hidden, he would orchestrate the Shadow Collective from there. However, the Shadow Collective would eventually be crushed when Ahsoka Tano, Bo-Katan, Kreese, and a battalion of clone troopers led by Commander Rex besieged the planet. Maul would be defeated by Tano in a single combat and imprisoned in a Mandalorian vault where he was transported to Coruscant. Maul would eventually escape when Sidious enacted Order 66. And I'm going to go ahead and stop reading it here because all it's doing is rehashing episodes of the Clone Wars. And, you know, we all know what happened in that story. We all know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you don't need to tell any more Darth Maul story. Like I said before, we know the beginning of the story. We even know parts of the middle of his story. And we certainly know the end of his story.
Mm-hmm.
So, really, from my perspective, and in my opinion, there's nothing more that needs to be told.
Yeah. I mean, there are gaps in the timeline for Maul, like from the end of Rebels to when we see him in Solo. Because when we see him in Solo is pre-Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously he somehow gains loads of power, starts Crimson Dawn, all that stuff. But the thing is, that's all superfluous story. It's not needed. It's not, because who cares?
Nobody cares. I can certainly say I don't care. And you can certainly say you don't care. How about you guys in the chat? Sci-Fi Nation, Godzillionaire. Do you guys care?
Maybe I'm the only one. I don't know.
No.
But, you know, I mean, the only, like, I'm gonna watch the newest season of The Mandalorian when it does release. I've watched it this far, and now that Grogu's not in the mix, I want to see where they're gonna take it, because they got. I think I know where they're gonna take it, but I want to actually see where they take it.
And
Ahsoka series doesn't interest me. It
no.
just doesn't. And The Obi-Wan series, maybe, I don't know. So you get one yes, one no, and one maybe. That's not very optimistic from a diehard Star Wars fan who started watching Star Wars at age 4.
No, you see where Star Wars used to be. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
including the Clone Wars in its first run.
Mm-hmm.
You see where the expanded universe was. Those books were selling like hotcakes.
Mm-hmm.
And you see where it is now. It's a shell of a franchise that it used to be. But I'm just repeating myself because there are a lot of franchises that are a shell of what they used to be.
Yep.
But you had mentioned Mandalorian season 3.
At this point, I don't know if I don't think.
You were saying at this point you don't think?
Oh, so, yeah. I don't think you can save Star Wars because even if you get Kathleen Kennedy out, you have to find all her cronies, get them out. Then you have to get rid of everything Disney has done with Star Wars that they have put out. You have to get rid of it all, which means you have to start fresh again, which means you need a fresh set of eyes. You need new direction. And who is going to give you this new direction? Who is going to be the spearhead of this new direction to lead it into a new generation of good Star Wars? I don't see anybody out there. Maybe you could say Favreau, but with the whole Gina Carano thing, I don't trust him to take Star Wars into a proper good direction.
And I'm glad you mentioned Gina Carano because recently Giancarlo Esposito was quoted as saying, and there's even video of it, of him saying that one of the people he enjoyed working with on the set of The Mandalorian was Gina Carano because of her warm nature. I don't know if you heard any of that.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so what I was saying, and I'm sorry you're having such a rough time, man. But
it's okay. It is what it is. I'm just trying to not lose my shit.
But what I was saying is that recently at a convention, Giancarlo Esposito said that one of the people he enjoyed working with on the set of The Mandalorian was Gina Carano.
Mm-hmm. It's not surprising. Everybody liked Gina Carano.
Mm-hmm.
At least that worked with her. It was the namby-pambies up in the boardrooms that didn't like her because the Twitter didn't like her. But you look at everybody who worked with her on the set of Mandalorian, they sang her praises.
Yep. I mean, even Pedro Pascal.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not the biggest fan of him, but he backed Gina Carano. So I give him props on that at least.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, this is about the trailer for the Book of Boba Fett. I am going to play it, but I am going to be pausing it. I might be pausing it more than I need to, but in order to avoid a copyright claim or a copyright strike, I'm doing what's necessary. And before I do that, Godzillionaire says, you got to wonder if Doomcock is right and Gina is coming back and Giancarlo Esposito is trying to get out in front of it. Maybe, or maybe it's just a thing where somebody asked him point blank, who do you like working with on the set of The Mandalorian? And that was the answer that came to mind.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound like I'm throwing shade on Doomcock, but I think he's being given false information, considering that Gina Carano's movie just recently.
Okay, you were saying that Gina Carano's movie just recently what?
Yeah, StreamYards, you can go fuck off, by the way. You're no better than Melon to me right now. Actually, you're worse than Melon right now. Um, anyways, so her movie just started filming like 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Filming is going to go for X amount of months, and then there's going to be press tours and everything. So you're talking she's occupied for the next year at least, and then and then there's another movie that she still wants to do. So she's got this movie and another movie that she wants to do. So that's 2 movies. She has no, and if she's the lead star, she's the one spearheading this. When is she? Fuckity fuck face.
Maybe this will make you laugh.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's not the first time I've doubted him, so you know what? You can add it to my tab, which I have no intention of paying, by the way. So,
Who knows? It could be Harvey.
well, yeah, yeah, Harvey can go, f himself then, for all I care. Um, but yeah, I just think Doom. I don't know how accurate Doomcock's information is, just based on the fact she's working on one movie now. There's another movie she wants to do after this. You're talking about 2 years at minimum that she's going to be occupied. She's not going to have time to be dealing with Disney and all that stuff, considering she's probably a little pissed off with them based off of what happened. Because she doesn't
And who
keep her
can blame
mouth
her?
shut. Yeah, she doesn't keep her mouth shut, and that's something Disney does not want to hear because they're afraid of the people on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. So, this article again came out on Monday, and it's talking about how the trailer for Boba Fett came out, and I have seen a parody which I'll try to find and pull up. And basically, the parody was the book of Tony Soprano. Because
Yeah,
if anyone's seen the trailer, that's the kind of vibe I'm getting from the book of
it,
Boba Fett.
I honestly, the Book of Boba Fett did nothing to entice me. To be honest, it left me with so many questions. It gave me nothing in terms of story, what the plot. It gave me nothing. I have no interest in Book of Boba Fett. None. I frankly don't care. Boba Fett is, yeah, no interest.
But it goes on to say the Walt Disney Company and Lucasfilm released their first trailer for the upcoming Disney Plus show, The Book of Boba Fett, that spins out of The Mandalorian. Take a look. Along with this new trailer, they also released a brand new poster as well as new stills from the show. So here's one of the posters. I gotta say, the artwork doesn't look too bad.
No, the artwork looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And he did lose weight. You can definitely tell he's been he hit the gym a little bit from between Mandalorian and this, because Mandalorian, some people were saying, "Damn, Boba looks out of shape right now."
Well, the popular meme going around was he has dad bod.
I saw similar things. I mean, again, this they're using old. Again, Disney cannot come up with anything new. All they have to go off with is old stuff. You're not creating a new wheel. You're just taking the old wheel and doing other stuff with them.
Well, and it's the same thing that's happening with Star Trek right now. They're using old characters. Strange New Worlds. Does anybody have any real interest in watching Strange New Worlds?
To be honest, I forget it exists. The only reason why I know it exists is because Trek Yards covers it. Like they do like an episode review whenever a new episode comes out. That's the only reason why I know it actually it's actually a thing. Other than that, I would have completely forgotten its existence because I don't want to see an animated Star Trek show that's kind of something that's more aimed at kids. I'm sorry. Kids could still watch Star Trek and you didn't have to pander to them. I mean, for
Very
God's
true.
sakes, I was watching Star Trek 4 and 6 when I was what 6 years old. I mean, those movies are not pandered to kids, but I still loved watching them. Even though I didn't understand a lot of stuff, I enjoyed watching them at 6 years old. So
I was 7 years old when I started watching the original series. It was Tomorrow's Yesterday. That was the first episode of Star Trek I ever saw.
yeah, and the same thing. It wasn't just 2 and 4. It was the original series I started watching around 5 and 6, around 6. I'm just gonna say 6 because that's about the early farthest back. It might have been earlier, but yeah, around 6 years old. Original series. It was the Gorn episode. Was the very first episode I ever saw.
Well, if there's any episode to get you hooked into Star Trek, that's the one.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm just
It
stop
doesn't have to be
fucking with our franchises.
it doesn't have to be dumbed down for kids to enjoy it. Kids can understand a story. If someone at 5, 6, 7 years old can get into Star Trek, maybe not understand the story initially, but at least get enough of it where they're actually enjoying what they're seeing and they keep coming back to it, then that's all you need.
Yeah, you know what? Give me some DS9 any day right now. Give me DS9 and I'll be happy. That's my Trek.
When it came to DS9, and I know I keep saying this over and over again, where I'm sure my regular viewers, regular subscribers are probably sick and tired of hearing me say it. But with Deep Space Nine, my only hang up was, and this is what I called them at the time for anyone who's new, I called them Reeky Deaky Runabouts. That was my only problem with the series.
I personally had no issue with the runabouts. I personally didn't, but that's just my personal opinion. Obviously, you disagree, and that's cool. That's the
Uh,
beauty of it. We can disagree on a ship and not want to shoot each other.
I was 14, almost 15 years old at the time, and I thought I knew Star Trek better than those that were producing it at that time. Going, oh, there's no way that station's going to survive if all it has are runabouts to defend it. So, this article goes on to say an official description also accompanied the trailer and poster. It reads, The Book of Boba Fett, a thrilling Star Wars adventure teased in a surprise end credit sequence following the season 2 finale of The Mandalorian, finds legendary bounty hunter Boba Fett and mercenary Fennec Shand navigating the galaxy's underworld when they return to the sands of Tatooine to stake their claim on the territory once ruled by Jabba the Hutt and his crime syndicate. In other words, Boba's gonna make them an offer they can't refuse.
My boy Boba. I told him, family is a very important thing. It's just like a good cannoli. You need to have every good part of a cannoli well established for a cannoli to be successful in being tasty.
And you can bet that there's gonna be a Frito out there that Boba's gonna have to take care of. It's nothing personal. It's just business.
He's gonna make it Honduras. and all these other freaks of nature. They're gonna make him an offer you can't refuse. And if they don't take it, well, bada bing, we take care of the problem. I'll get old Johnny and old Vito. We'll go take them out in the sands and, well, we'll let the fishies deal with them. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna play like that. By the way, more next time Chaos does a stream. I'm talking that way the entire time during the stream.
So, Godzilla there, Sci-Fi Nation, anyone else who's watching this live or watching this after the fact, with another content creator who streams a lot of War Thunder on Twitch. Well, the three of us, we go around, we have fun, and I've created this character called Padlock, and he talks like this, and he says, "You're all scruffies. Look at you. You died. You come back to life, then you died again. You're all scruffies. You want to know why you're scruffy? Because you're expendable. You get it into the dirt, and then you just die. Why?"
I don't have a persona yet. I'm working. I think going all Fredo, Godfather might be mine.
I was gonna say go with it.
I should create. I should create a Twitch channel where all I do is play like Mafia games, and all I do is talk like I'm from The Godfather.
Godzilla got it. He got it. He nailed it where I got it from.
I haven't seen Futurama in so long.
I'm surprised Chaos didn't catch on to it when I was doing it, but Godzilla, you got it.
It's been 4 or 5 years since I've seen Futurama, so I wouldn't have gotten it because it's been that long since I've seen it. So.
And this article goes on to say he's also joined by Ming-Na Wen, who reprises her role as Fennec Shand. And it will also feature Jennifer Beals as she plays a Twi'lek. The series is executive produced by Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, Robert Rodriguez, Kathleen Kennedy, and Colin Wilson. Karen Gilchrist and Carrie Beck are co-executive producers, with John Batternicki producing and John Hempane as co-producer. I don't even know if I'm saying that last name right. The first episode is expected to debut on Disney Plus on December 29th. What do you make of the trailer? Well, we haven't watched it yet.
I'm just going to say this. We got a trailer about, it's been less than a week, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're getting a trailer. So if you go, so what today? So about 2 months before is when we get our first trailer. I'm a bit surprised by that. That has me even.
It has you even more.
It has me even more worried because 2 months roughly before this show drops, you release your first trailer. I mean, I would think you would. I mean, again, that's a bit concerning to me, considering that we got for like The Mandalorian, we got freaking teasers and all this stuff many months beforehand, like 4 or 5 months. We're getting this trailer 2 months before this trailer.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Why are they waiting so long to release a trailer to build up hype? And it tells me they don't have any confidence in the show.
Yep. Because again, Boba Fett is part of the old guard. Anybody who is anybody who grew up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s grew up with Boba Fett. Whether that was movie and comics and books or just movies or any combination of media out there that had Boba Fett in it, you grew up with Boba Fett. The newer generation does not know Boba Fett. They don't because they weren't exposed to him unless you had a family member.
No, they weren't exposed to him unless you had a family member who told you about him. And even with that being said, you know, Boba Fett's some very minor character.
In movies, yes, very, very, very minor.
In the
Pretty much a
EU, he's a big
throwaway.
deal.
Yeah, and that's where Boba Fett's fame really came into existence was in the EU via books and comics. So again, he's Boba Fett is part of the old guard, and to do a show highlighting him means you're trying to entice the old guard, the older Star Wars fans back, who are pretty pissed off with you considering what you did to all the original characters.
Mm-hmm.
I just, again, they have no other direction to go than keep rehashing old stuff.
Hollywood is completely out of ideas. I know I'm, you know, beating the same drum, but it's true. They've run out of ideas.
I I think that Hollywood has great ideas, maybe even mind-blowing ideas. I just think that because they don't fit in with whatever narratives Hollywood wants to push, you will never see them.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think Gina Carano is doing her thing? It's outside of Hollywood because
Yep,
she knows the story she wants to tell isn't something that agrees with the Hollywood narrative.
exactly.
This is where, and this is something, and this is and unfortunately, it is a political thing. Whether
Yeah.
people want to stick their head in the sand or not in a minute, it's entirely a political thing. There's no reason to push narratives in movies unless you're pushing it.
Unless they're, pushing the agenda, there is no reason. We've all seen it, like you're saying. Oh boy, come on, StreamYards. All right, you want to try now, brother?
I don't even remember what the hell I was saying. I'm honestly wanting to literally shoot my iPad, literally right now at this point. Again, no, I've had not.
This really sucks. 2 days in a row.
You know what? I'm gonna still stay on here. I'm gonna go do an active speed check while this is running and see if my speed is affected. Because when I did it, I wasn't running StreamYards or anything else. So just give me
Okay,
one quick second. I'll be right back.
not a problem, brother. Because trust me, I've been there. This week, I've had my internet go out twice on me. And before it went out the first time, things were slowing down. I was checking to make sure I didn't have any other programs open in the background. No updates for any games or anything. Downloading, everything was good. And then the internet around here went out for 2 hours. And then yesterday, the internet was giving me trouble as well. And it happened right after I finished the stream. So not only was Melon giving us trouble and giving common sense trouble, but then my
All
internet
right.
after the stream ended gave me trouble. And
Hell.
you're right, Sci-Fi Nation. It's easier than ever to make your own movie content now. All you need at a minimum is a decent cell phone. Yeah, cell phones are powerful enough. I do too, brother. I do too. And who knows
Sorry,
it
that was weird. Like I minimized the Discord app because that's what StreamYard because StreamYard's website's open through Discord. So when I minimized it, I couldn't hear your audio. Like it cut your audio. But even run
and it cut him out again. Okay, you said that you minimized Discord, but even running.
So even while running Discord, I'm still pulling in 170 megs a second.
Yeah, so you
So I
shouldn't
think
be
it's
having any
StreamYards
issues.
itself
Yeah, it's got to be
because
both.
I have plenty of data coming in. All right, you know what? I'm gonna, because this shit's getting old real quick.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll be right back.
All right, brother. And Sci-Fi Nation, I am running at StreamYards on Chrome. Now, I can't speak for the Smoking Patriot, Common Sense America, but this is just ridiculous. Try to stream with somebody, and because service isn't working properly, you're missing parts of the person's talking points, and it's just gotten frustrating. I mean, I was even able to play a game of War Thunder earlier today, no problem. Was able to get rid of a few tanks from both the ground and the air. No, he's not. The past 2 nights, he hasn't had any luck. So I'm going to give him a few moments to pop it back in here. And if he's unable to come back in here in 2 minutes, I will then begin to play the Boba Fett trailer. Once again, I will probably be pausing it more than I actually need to, but I am doing it to avoid copyright claim, copyright strike. And yes, I will be talking over the trailer as well, just to give the critique, because I have already watched it and I will watch it again to see if my opinion of it differs tonight than it did when I first watched it last week. All right, so I'm going to give the Patriot one more minute, and then I'll start playing the trailer. And like I said, I'll be pausing it and I'll be talking over it as well. Yep, that's exactly right. Better safe than sorry. So just waiting for that minute to pass, and I will then play this trailer. And Here we go. And here he is. Welcome back. Hopefully you can hear me. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and play the trailer.
Okay. I actually opened it up on an actual web browser.
I am not a bounty hunter.
Okay.
So if this doesn't work, then it's got to be StreamYards, because there's literally no other reason why this should be this way. There's literally no other reason.
Yep.
So, anyways, I'm sorry. Continue with the trailer.
I've heard otherwise.
Yeah, there we go. He's putting on the helmet. And don't be afraid to speak over the trailer comment. That'll probably help transform it a little more.
Just, yeah.
Fennec Shan and Boba Fett. And they're being
I
stared
know
at.
that you sit on the throne of your former employer.
Din Djarin. We're getting a nice overview here. I mean, that looks nice to me. But it can't all be pretty shots. There's got to be some story.
Mm-hmm.
Jabba ruled with fear.
Jabba's throne. Jabba's palace. And of course, Tamira Morrison.
I intend to rule with respect.
So, I'm wondering too, if, because it's Tamira Morrison and he also played the clones, if we might possibly see one of the clone troopers. Captain Rex, maybe?
Once captains under Jabba the Hutt.
I'm here to make a proposal that's mutually beneficial.
That's right. He's there to make a proposal that's mutually beneficial for everybody in the Syndicate, everybody in the galaxy, everybody on the Outer Rim. I'm going to make them an offer they can't refuse.
Listen, don't listen to this Italian hack, okay? I do the best deals ever, okay? Nobody deals better than me, okay?
Another good way to do is to mute the sound and put a link to it in your description.
I'll try that for next time.
Yeah.
Why speak of conflict when cooperation can make us all rich?
Really? See, he's going into different territories and he's saying, I'm going to buy you out. I'm taking your territory. I'm taking your money. You work for me now. Capiche?
I mean, let's just be frank, okay? Okay? I know, like I said this, okay? So this wasn't me. But this guy is a killer. You don't want to make deals with killers. Why? They'll kill you.
What makes you think that Boba Fett, a good boy, is going to kill you? He's not going to kill you.
That's what he does for a living, okay? He does killing.
He's going to make you a part of his family. That's what he's going to do. The way he's going to do it is by putting you in carbonite. You'll be a permanent member of his family. You'll be an ornament.
He can stick that family in the Rancor pit for all I care.
Boba Trump.
Oh God.
Slave One. Slave
Still
One.
looks beautiful. Still looks beautiful. I gotta say that.
I just wanted to say that real quick. That ship is still Slave One. It was always gonna be Slave One.
What prevents us all from killing you and taking what we
Oh, look.
want?
DS9. All the aliens come to Boba Fett. I'm Captain Benjamin Boba Fett.
And I fly the motherfucking pimp hand.
Interesting. Shields. Oh, he just gave him the rock bottom, or was that the choke slam?
I don't know. All I could think of was they're raising their shield, and all I could think of is, I'm just can't do it, Captain. I just don't have the power.
She can't take much more of this, Captain. You've got to give me 30 minutes.
I'm giving her all she's got, Captain. That's all I could think of.
If you had spoken such
Wait a minute. Did he just kill somebody without Chucky? I'm your friend to the end. And he killed somebody without me.
Well, let's just be real. Who would want to be around a possessed, demented, murderous little doll?
What are you saying, Orange Man? You saying I'm a bad influence? Come here.
I got something you can grab. It's called a nuclear bomb. Bye-bye.
Yes, we get silly here.
Especially with my internet acting up, I need to
He'd
get
have fed
silly
you to
right
his
now.
menagerie.
It's the only way
Yep.
for me not to want to start.
Please.
Yeah, I think I've seen these guys before. I don't know where, but I think I've seen them.
Speak freely.
He gave him permission to speak. That's a good sign already. He gave him permission to speak.
What about this is interesting?
Nothing.
There's nothing groundbreaking. There's nothing. The Mandalorian, at least you could say, is kind of unique because Mandalorians were never covered like heavy. Like the Clone Wars did cover them, yes, but strictly focused on the Mandalorians. That's an interesting concept, at least. That's something you can at least go with.
You know, I'm going to quote Kirk from the Wrath of Khan after they do the simulator. And he looks at Spock and he says, "Aren't you supposed to be dead? Because isn't that what all these bounty hunters would be saying about Boba? Aren't you supposed to be dead?"
Yeah, because remember, Boba Fett was kind of living in hiding, and then he only made his presence revealed to the Mandalorian later on. You know, so if he's living in hiding and seclusion for, so 5 years, this is like 5-6 years after the events of Return of the Jedi. Yeah, why aren't people like, whoa, you're supposed to be dead? We need some answers first. Like, you know, how did you escape a Sarlacc pit? For first.
And they should have covered that in last season of Mandalorian. They should have at least had Boba explain how he was able to get out of the Sarlacc.
Well, the problem is that if they did, they would have to create their own way that he got out than what's in the EU. Because they can't use the exact same thing.
No.
So they'd have to create entirely something different, which would piss off even more Star Wars fans. Because they'd be like, whoa, 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 that's not how he escaped.
No. But, it also goes back to what we've been saying. Writers in Hollywood are not creative right now. They keep rehashing old ideas over and over and over again. It's a retread of a retread of a retread. And as a consumer, and yes, we are consumers, we do pay money to watch these TV shows, watch these movies. I'm tired of seeing something I've already seen before.
Mm-hmm.
I can go back and watch Deep Space Nine and still enjoy it because I try to give enough gap in between each and every viewing of it. This way, when I come back to it, it's new again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, they just start. I mean, I'm calling it at, let's see.
As soon as I put that up there, that it happened. Blame it on me. Go ahead with your last thought.
Where did you last? What was the last words you heard? Just so I know.
The last words I heard as soon as.
Oh, on let's see. Well, now 12:21 on Friday, November 5th Central Time. I'm officially calling it. Star Wars has flatlined.
In other words, it's dead, Jim.
Yeah, and there's no Katra. There's nothing you can do to bring it back.
Mm-mm. They tried to bring it back in multiple ways with The Mandalorian. They tried to bring it back with The Rise of Skywalker. And I'm sorry, I've been waiting to say this, and I've wanted to say it for a while. Bringing back Harrison Ford in The Rise of Skywalker, he definitely looked like the definition of a scruffy nerf herder. When you see him in that scene with Kylo Ren.
Mm-hmm.
So Leia was right. He is a scruffy nerf herder.
Well, I'm sure even scruffy nerf herders have more honor than what Luke had in the sequel trilogy.
That's because he had no honor. There was no glory to him and his house.
He's a dishonorable patak.
Who's scruffy? Yeah.
Hey. I don't kiss my sister. Okay? I need to get that on the record. I don't have a sister, but even if I did, I wouldn't kiss her. So.
I love my sister, but I don't love her that much. And she would say the same about me. She'd go, Mike, I love you, but I don't love you that much. Go ahead. You were about to say, so you.
Well, I was gonna say, so what you're saying is you're not originally from Alabama?
No, sir. I'm from a much nuttier state.
Oh God! It was fun. I saw a TikTok today, and literally it was. They shouldn't. They always say you shouldn't date your cousin, and then you see her dating her cousin. It was a dude, and then literally, if you look at her bio, it literally says she's from Alabama.
Oh gosh, that is
like,
that. Ugh.
I was just like, you are such a stereotypical trope now. Oh, fein en helvete.
Oh boy.
I'm not actively thinking about it, so yeah. So yeah. Anyways,
I gotta get that image out of my head.
quick, pull up Marcus in her undies. Purge your thoughts with good ones.
What do you think I'm doing? Come on, load up. Don't you do this? Don't you refuse to load up? Thank you. You knew better. Okay, there we go.
There you go. Okay, are you starting to feel a little better now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
there you go. Okay. See, a woman in a nice pair of bra and panties, that can help out.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can. What say you in the chat?
I mean, I'm feeling better. I mean, yeah, my internet's crap, but I guess looking at that, I'm okay for the moment.
You know, there's a reason nose art was put on the front of planes during World War II.
Yeah, I've seen some of it. It can get raunchy.
Yep.
And when I say I've seen it in live, I've been to warbird museums where they literally took the parts off of the various bombers and they mounted them on the wall. So you go into some of these warbird museums and you'll see the actual the pieces of the bombers that had the nose art still intact and everything. The art, let's put it this way: you don't.
I think the Patriot got the internet all hot and steamy, hot and bothered.
Oh Lord. Well, StreamYards can go the route of freaking Melon at this point, for all I care.
So, you know what I'm going to do next time then?
What? Streamlabs?
Well, yeah, Streamlabs is the way that part of it's going to be done. But Discord's
another way, but the funny thing is, it's like it's only last night and tonight, and there's not one explanation I can think of, because according to every metric that I have available access to, I have strong internet to this iPad.
Yeah, and as Sci-Fi Nation was telling me, I sound perfectly fine. It's cutting you in and out. So it's somewhere in between that's just not cooperating. I know I'm probably stating the obvious. I do that well, folks.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, and there's no way to figure out what it is, because again, according to my internet, I got great speed. So I shouldn't have an unstable network connection if I'm regularly pulling in over 170 megabytes a second.
And Spock says this, and yes, Spock, I've got to do it, brother. Streamlabs is the way.
Well, hold, Spock, hold, whoa. First of all, do you know the way, my brother? Do you know the way? Are you telling me you know the way? Because if you know the way, you must tell me the way. God bless Ugandan knuckles.
A certain general is missing out on all this fun, and I don't even see him online.
No, he's probably exhausted from work.
Probably.
Because even go 3 hours back, it's 9:30. I mean, he's probably exhausted. So,
Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's what we're gonna try next time. This way, my guest here, the Smoking Patriot, Common Sense America, doesn't get kicked off here every freaking time. See, I can't even speak. I'm getting so frustrated with it.
Yeah, just imagine how it is on my end. It's too freaking cold outside to go shooting something. It's like in the
Baby, it's cold outside.
I mean, if there were, I mean, honestly, yeah. I mean, I kind of wish there were a woman here at this point. You know, yeah, it's 36 outside right now. 36. I could go outside, but I'm not going to go outside and try shooting.
No, I wouldn't blame you.
You know, sorry, I'm not in the military and I'm not on an Arctic campaign, so.
Well, unless we're playing War Thunder, then chaos has us going here, there, and everywhere.
Oh, dear Lord. Do you want to start wrapping this up? Because I think with the internet and everything, yeah.
I just thought we would try to leave it on a good note, a happy note, a laughing note.
Well, that last photo being a happy note, yes.
And yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna show her one more time because Alice Eve, you're a beautiful woman. From what I've seen you in, you're a pretty good actress.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody should be ashamed of who they are or what they look like. And she certainly isn't.
Nope.
So, on that note, I want to thank everybody who stopped by for this live stream. I want to thank Spock's Friday Nights. I want to thank Low Spec Linux Laptop, Sci-Fi Nation. I want to thank Godzillionaire for stopping by earlier. Thank you to everybody who stops by after the live stream and watches the replay. Thank you all very much. It's been a pleasure. We'll have to do this again. Of course, next time it'll be us on our Discord servers. So until then, this has been Mike and
Smoking Patriot or Common Sense America, whichever one you want to use.
And let's see if I have you in here. I do not, but I will put the link to your channel in the description. This way, if anybody wants to subscribe to your YouTube channel, they can. I'll probably do it real quick after this live stream. So just hang tight, everybody, and it'll be there. But again, thank you all for tuning in tonight. Thank you all for tuning in last night. Thank you all for joining me for the watch party earlier of episode 4 of Chucky, Just Like Go. Because after all, we're friends. We're friends to the end. Come on. If you haven't seen Chucky, it's good. I'm not saying it's the greatest series there is, but if you take it for what it is, you can get some enjoyment out of it. And that's just stupid fun. Yes, sci-fi. Take care, everyone.
Later, everybody.